Hello everyone. In this podcast, we're going to cover the integrated learning assignment for prop rigging. Or in other words, we're going to rig this character's ears and we're going to use the IK systems and the FK systems we've covered in previous podcasts in, just all in and just figuring out the right system to make for this. So his right ear, I'm going to do a quick IK system, and the left ear, I'm going to do a local oriented control system on here. So for one thing is I am going to create an IK all the way from the beginning to the end of this. Expand, go into my IK handle tool. Now, I would consider him having a pull vector, even though he doesn't really have an elbow in his ear, but it does have a bending and twisting point. So I select my first channel, and I'm in rotate plane, and I command, and I select my last channel, and I get my IK, and that's my right ear IK, like that. Now, this does give me control over like that. So let's actually duplicate my my box, and I'll put it up here. So maybe a better shape than a box might be better here. Another arrow maybe. But I will put an arrow in here. Now this one's going to be a little trickier because we don't have an exact angle for his pull vector. We don't have a joint that we know is where the pull vector is. So I'm kind of guesstimating where it should be. Like that. Okay, and I'm just going to move it up. So this will most likely move the ear around when I actually do. So I'm going to freeze transforms on both of those, and just like I did before, I take my IK, and this is going to be my right ear icon, and this will be my right ear twist maybe icon. And so I'm going to say, I'm just going to parent the IK middle mouse, drag it right onto the ear. See, there we go. And then I'm going to say driver. The driven is the IK. The IK is really small in there. And I'm going to do constraint pull vector. Okay, so it didn't move that much. It did move a little bit. So this will adjust the ear coming back and forth. So if I do something like this, yeah, that's not too bad. The FK system, we can create this. These are I'm pretty far away from the origin, so when I create my circles, it's gonna have to bring them up. So I'm gonna do create a circle and group it like that. And it's gonna take the group and move it up. Now I'm not gonna go crazy naming these. I'm gonna kind of leave it to you, but I just want to get it started. You can see the kind of issues that are gonna pop up on here. So you'll notice here that my joint's facing down X, and my control is currently facing in, is actually facing in Y. So if I go into my control, I go into the history in it, I can actually turn X on the normal, and what that'll do is it'll point my thing down the X-axis. So when I say driver and driven, and I do a parent constraint with snapping, okay, good. You'll see it kind of puts itself around it like that. So I can delete it, and I can duplicate this a couple of times, and I can say, now you got to ask yourself, do I really want to have that much fidelity onto it? Because these 2 points are really close to each other. Maybe I'll come back, I'll go up the ear here. So I can say, let's go in each one. Driver driven and apply. And I can say driver driven and apply the next one up. And then I can do one more. Driver driven and apply like that. And you can see it's getting pretty busy. And this is the downside of FK controls is, if you want control over something, you're going to have to make a control for every joint that you want to manipulate it. So right now, I could go in here and say driver driven and do an orient constraint. They are the same, so I should be able to apply that right onto it. And I'm just kind of doing a quick one, driver driven, apply, driver driven, apply, and driver driven, apply, like that. And these would have to be parented together, like a step ladder. So that's the first one. This is the third one, so that would go underneath it. Okay. So that gives me a good motion there. Maybe this one's a little bit too much. Actually, I kind of like that to be able to do that type of thing. And I would go through the rest of the ear. So yeah, I would go through and just play around putting controls on here. I would finish this off, and you're probably thinking maybe putting a little arrows above or something like that would be a better control than these. Actually, it kind of look like piercing, so that's not too bad. But you can see how cluttering this can get if you have going through this whole system. So you got to think about how you're laying out your joints too if you're going to do this. Another thing we can research to push this further is looking at stretchy systems, which can actually have, that can control a wider amount of joints, but not have as many control systems inside of it as well. But just kind of play around, put some control systems in there. This leads heavily into, if you want to do the extra credit on the IK-FK system, that you can actually literally build a dual system on top of itself, which we're going to do the dual system, but you're going to have an option for extra credit to do the full IK-FK and the switch on one of the arms as well, which will be another scene that's provided for you.